There have been a lot of theories as to who the villain is in Resident Evil 9 or Resident Evil Requiem, especially after the second trailer that just released. For me personally, I thought the hooded man was Nikolai from Resident Evil 3 Remake, and honestly, I don't know if that's true or not at this point. Well, today I wanted to tell you about one name that truly stands out, especially in my comment section, and that is Brandon Bailey. Well, in short, we don't even know what he looks like, and he's never been in any game. The only thing we know is from files that can be found in games, so documents and other things like that, especially in Resident Evil 5. So let me tell you a little bit about who he is. Brandon Bailey was born around the 1940s or after World War II. We know this because in a file, he is mentioned to be around university age around the 1960s. Bailey pursued studies in virology and became a protege of Dr. James Marcus, a prominent scientist who later became one of Umbrella's founding figures. Through Marcus, Bailey entered a network of ambitious scientists and eugenicists, which also included Oswald E. Spencer and Edward Ashford. This group shared interest in using advanced biology with the aim of pushing human evolution, ultimately setting the ideological groundwork that Umbrella would build upon. A pivotal episode in Bailey's career was the expedition to West Africa in 1966, along with James Marcus, Spencer, and others. Their goal was to locate a rare flower known as Stairway to the Sun, rumored to carry an ancient retrovirus capable of altering DNA. After 3 months of research and strain, including encounters with the local Ndipaya tribe, they discovered that the flower indeed carried a previously unknown virus, later called the progenitor virus. Over time, Bailey's role morphed. His work continued for decades, setting up facilities, building labs, supervising research, and pushing for better infrastructure to support the kind of viral research that wasn't clean or ethical by most standards in Africa. But emotionally or mentally, he began to show strain when the founding members of Umbrella started covering up or rewriting history, particularly Spencer's self-interest. Bailey was sidelined. He became disillusioned. Eventually, he founded an organization called The Connections, which seemed to turn more explicitly criminal, selling bioweapons to criminal enterprises, no longer bound to the eugenics ideals of his youth. It's not entirely clear how long that lasted though, or what exactly happened to him. Resident Evil canon leaves his status somewhat ambiguous. The ambiguity is exactly why some fans think he could come back in Resident Evil 9. The franchise has brought back seemingly forgotten characters before, such as Alyssa Ashcroft, and Bailey's ties to the Connections make him a perfect candidate to resurface as a mastermind or hidden force behind future biohazard outbreaks. A return could tie together older Umbrella lore with the newer storyline introduced in Resident Evil 7 and Village, especially since the Connections were responsible for Evelyn's creation. With that being said, it is also important to stay realistic about his chances of returning, especially as a main villain. By the time Resident Evil Requiem takes place, Brandon Bailey would be nearly 100 years old, which makes it unlikely he'd serve as a physically active antagonist, unless Capcom writes in some kind of viral enhancement that keeps him alive and youthful. He might be too old to believably return as the series' central threat. Director Koshi Nakanishi has stated that Resident Evil Requiem will focus more on the original story of the Resident Evil franchise, which suggests the plot might lean towards classic themes and characters rather than obscure deep-cut figures like Bailey. So far, it is more likely that Resident Evil Requiem will be more connected to Resident Evil Outbreak and Outbreak File 2, more than something like Resident Evil 7 or 8. My personal opinion is that it's probably someone completely new that just wants Grace or Alyssa for some reason. Perhaps Grace is immune to the T-virus or something crazy like that. Let me know your theories in the comment section down below, and don't forget to leave a like if you're excited for Resident Evil 9 and more videos, especially my walkthroughs and guides. And you know I will be here to get that S+ professional rank when the game fully releases. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.